Welcome back, folks. You're, of course, watching Cape Rugby TV, and it's nice to have you along. And we, of course, carry on talking about what's happening in the world of club rugby. Back on the line with me now, we haven't spoken to him for a few weeks, Sabelo Mzanywa, the Deputy President for Young Ideas. Sabelo, welcome back to Cape Rugby TV. How are things there with you?
No, great, JP. Thanks again for having us back. It's always nice to be on your show.
Let's go back a few weeks. The last time we spoke, a lot of the clubs making sure that they were staying connected to their members, finding creative ways to keep the club, the players active during these very difficult times. But then after that, slowly, there was some positive movement. Teams were allowed to start that first 4-week phase of non-contact training, and then after that you guys went into the second 4-week phase of where you were allowed to do some form of, and of course under the regulations we know that, of contact training, and then it was announced that you were starting to play a few friendly fixtures. Walk us a little bit through the last 3 months, Sabelo, of what's been happening at Young Ideas.
Look, you would remember that since COVID, especially last year, which we've not been playing, but of course, within ourselves, we came up with creative ideas where we did hikings and some long walks just to keep the players fit. It was lovely again to have the entire, team, of course, under strict regulations, having back on the field of play for them just to have an unconduct practice. But most importantly, the 3 friendlies that we've played, which of course, to see that our players were so desperate about it. We've won all of those. It was nice to see them in action, Look, I kind of think that most players are so hungry, not only players of Young Ideas, but generally, you are so hungry of rugby. It's even difficult just to sit back and doing nothing. But because now we've started playing, we have not stopped the momentum. But of course, we are going back on what we've built up in the previous term, where we would do some long walks. This coming Saturday, we've got a long walk for the centre.
You're saying you're back to the long walks.
Back to the long walks. This coming Saturday, we've got a long walk from Zevenwacht Mall up until Asara post Polka Dry on the Stellenbosch area, and of course in that different walk, which will be mostly pairs of 3s, because we must still keep the regulations, but there's also some exercise, from pole to pole. Other pole you jog, other pole you sprint, other pole you do some resistant work as well, so that we can keep the momentum, because we've been ignited by the 3 friendlies that we've played. We're so hungry and we want to be ready when it opens up, because I believe after Sunday there is a meeting again to consider if the president is opening up, to consider when we're starting with the fixtures as well. So we want to be ready when that time happens.
Yeah, these are of course all the various announcements that everybody keeps waiting for, and then making those adjustments as these various government or sports institutions make their announcements, and that must be difficult as well. For you guys as a sport. We know that yesterday there was a workshop from Western Province on club membership recruitment and rejuvenation. And looking at the Western Province Rugby and the club structures activity over the last 18 months, you must have some sort of, call it, experience that you've now built up with your members' structures on how to react every time there's a new announcement. I think the kind of challenges maybe that we had previously was, a last-minute announcement if the bus was going to be at a different location, or if you had to wear a different jersey. The challenges today are different. You get a last-minute announcement on COVID matters.
Yeah. Look, I guess it's a new normal. We have to readjust to it. But for us, the whole issue of COVID has been beneficial. I'll tell you why. We went around some few townships, especially the Mfuleni township. We found a lot of young boys that were playing in the slump. We then thought we could do something better with those boys. I can tell you now, we've got over 75 young boys that we've broken down to under 11 and under 16 and under 20, which under 20, most of those boys form part of our second team. We found them playing during COVID. in the slums. We've just formalized them, where we're then able to give them a proper rugby ball, took them to a school rugby field, and have some dedicated players of ours who will then take them through and coach them. It was marvelous to see them. When we're playing the friendlies, we've also asked to have games for them. You see under 11s and under 16s. And of course, under 20s now, we've thrown them into our second team. So you could see, and I'm telling you, we've done our data on them in terms of where do they come from, their parents, where they reside. We've got over 75 of that. Now, if we do it right and we keep it right, it therefore tells you we are supposed to prolong our stay in existence, which for us, I think we've seen it as a big positive. And of course, with that and what we've experienced, we've got a basket of things to live on. So there's been a lot of positives. In actual fact, there's also a lady, if you allow me, JP, there's a lady that we found who's a former Springbok player, Poswa. She's in our club. We've brought her into our executive throughout this process. But not only that, we then said to her, look, you've been a Springbok player, and look around us. There isn't much female players that are within our club. Can you then go out to schools and be able to recruit them? And not necessarily recruit them for a club, but recruit them so that there's a long base of women rugby that we support as a club, which also Western Province can tap on, because you can't have you with so much skills just sitting and be in that school. And that is going very well for that matter. In fact, if I may take it further, just a few days ago, I was helping her to open up a foundation which specifically is going to deal with developing rugby in schools. Out of that, we will benefit as a club as well. Western Province will benefit. So there have been a lot of positives, just that we need to know the skill set that we have around us as a club and how best can we utilize those.
Sabelo, we of course have to leave it at that. Just from a practical point of view, to keep your process going there, if anybody wants to join, if everybody wants to join your structures, exactly what it is that you're busy doing now, whether they want to join as players, as general members, as fans, as past players, women's structure, youth structure, those doors are all open, obviously, from a Young Ideas perspective. How do they join? Is it a Facebook matter, going onto the Facebook page and reaching out to you?
For now, we've not necessarily launched the Facebook page, but we are ready to do that.
Okay.
But what we've done, we do have other platforms. I think in the next few weeks, JP would have a Facebook page with all the contact details and everything that they need. I think next time you were to invite me, I would be able to direct yourself also to view it before anything.
In the meantime, I think that we'll tell people that if anybody wants to join your structures, they can send the Cape Rugby Show a message, and we'll pass it on. We'll pass it on to your side. So we'll say thank you to you and to everybody out there, part of the squad. Fantastic work. We look forward to following the progress. We look forward to seeing local business really invest in you and the structures out there. And most importantly, we say to you guys, stay safe.
Thank you, JP. Thank you for always giving us the platform and trying to promote our rugby. And please stay safe. We've got this message as a club that you are the master of your own safety, because COVID kills. So please, we also want to send that to you as well. And I think thanks again for the message you've sent today, so that we can be able to send these messages. We can't take that lightly. We want, when the season is open, to still come on this platform and be able to see even the previous players and administrators. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sabelo. All right, folks. Well, great to see Young Ideas active behind the scenes and coming up with creative ways to keep their members active. Right, folks. Well, of course, as you know, Score Energy Drinks is on board with Western Province Rugby and the Western Province Club Rugby Sevens. So if you want to win yourself a case of Score, you will know that, of course, the competition is running on a weekly basis on Facebook, where you can win yourself a case of Score Energy Drinks, a case of Bashu's Cool Drinks, as well as a set of Cape Rugby TV masks. These masks are, of course, courtesy of CTC Sports, but it's a case of 24 Score Energy Drinks, a case of Bashu's Cool Drinks, and, of course, a set of Cape Rugby TV masks. 24, so they match, the set match. 24, 24, and 24. Now, we, of course, asked a question last week on Facebook. We asked the question, who won the Western Province Score Sevens tournament in 2019? And of course, the correct answer there was Tygerberg. And then congratulations to the winner, Dirk Witboy. Dirk answered the question correctly. It was indeed Tygerberg, winner of the SCORE Western Province Rugby Sevens tournament in 2019. Dirk, you walk away with a case of SCORE energy drinks. Of course, you can see it behind me here, as well as a set of case of Bashues and a set of Cape Rugby TV masks. We'll get a hold of you on Facebook. Right, folks, remember you can, of course, follow that Facebook thread on a weekly basis and answer those questions to put yourself in the mix to win this prize. We'll take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we carry on taking a look at what's happening in the world of club rugby. Back in a sec.